Hey everyone, welcome back to Automation. Today's just one of those days. I'm tired, I'm not really thinking, I'm barely awake, but I thought, well, why don't I make something fun? We may as well just mess around again, not try to be too realistic, not too outrageous, somewhere in the middle. I've got two cars that sort of perfectly encapsulate that idea, whereas this one is like a realistic style, classic economy car, and then we have an egg. So the reason that I'm tired is I was up very, very late helping some friends of mine move the other night, and I just have not been able to catch up on sleep since then. But obviously, using my truck for that purpose, helping people move, is something I am always willing and ready to do. But it got me thinking more about trucks and different types of trucks. Now, my truck is just a regular full-size one, but you've got people that lift them. It's extremely common here. And then we have the other side of the spectrum, which is lowered, like race trucks. So we're going to take this thing that I made for, well, it's pretty darn fast already. It's already got 1,300 horsepower, but it was made for Christmas 2023, although I don't know why I have it 2024, but basically it's a good truck basis to start with, where we can turn this into some kind of ridiculous race truck. It looks like it's already halfway done, so let's make it happen. Let's do the things that need to be done first. Chiefly, we got to get the tree out of the back and maybe take off some of these stickers and things. They don't necessarily need to be there, although that's kind of funny. Okay, well, that's not too bad. We're basically ready to start adding more performance stuff. I think 1,300 horsepower is actually too much. I have a goal for this, and I've set a random number, basically. 670 horsepower is what I want to do, so let's try for it. So I've called this the Fjord RTTR 670L. I was going to make the cab longer, or the bed longer, but it just doesn't look very good. So short bed, single cab, and a lot of firepower, hopefully. All right, let's do it. So my own personal style choices when it comes to these types of trucks, I really like when they're just kind of stock looking, but then underneath is where all the stuff is. So like I could do this with the fenders, and then it's going to look like a big moving truck or something, but we can get big wheels under there. It's just not going to look very nice. Instead, we're just going to leave it subtle and maybe do a couple over fender pieces to hide these the wheels cutting into the archways. Also, it might have to be a little bit bigger. So in terms of performance, we're currently weighing 1607 with 1,300 horsepower out of a huge V8. I'm going to shrink that engine down to make it a little more realistic. It's like 11.5 liters. That's insane. So let's do that now. Oh, Christmas tree. Oh, Christmas tree. How naughty of you. Okay, we're still going to be ridiculous because ridiculous is fun, but maybe like an 8-liter V8. How much power we got? 972. That's not even bad. It'll make 1,275. Maybe I shouldn't have that power requirement. Man, oh man, that's a lot of power. That is some strong, naturally aspirated power right there. It's 1,358.9 horsepower. That's basically double the 670, so we'll just leave it there. I think that's kind of cool. It's wickedly powerful and hopefully a little bit lighter because the engine is shrunk significantly. Let's see. Yeah, it's only 50 kilos, but it's something. So looking at the advanced view stuff, you can see based on where the front end is here that the engine is pretty tucked in back, which is a good thing. It's basically behind the front axles, making this truck technically mid-engined, but it's front mid-engined. It's more common than you think. The Infiniti G35 is actually an example of that configuration, if you're curious. So this truck had rotiform wheels on it, but I'm always debating with myself whether or not to try to fit like semi-vintage style wheels on things or just go for what the period correct stuff would be. Like the body in this case is a 46, so theoretically we'd be back here, maybe even older than this. Like stuff like this would be the proper wheels, but that's not necessarily what I'm going to go with. Some guys absolutely love this style. I'm not a huge fan of these types of wheels. It's kind of associated with muscle cars, but some cars look good with them. We'll give them a try on this, I think. Now that is classic. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I've made some fairly significant changes behind the scenes on this truck. It's about the same weight as it was before. We still have that beautiful like 1360 horsepower, which is insane. 8.4 liter V8. I guess it's actually bigger than I thought because of some changes that I didn't take into account here. Oh yeah, the variant capacity is bigger than I had it at, but anyway, 8.4, almost 8.5 liters. Sure. We'll just say it's a marine engine. That makes it cooler. Fully naturally aspirated, by the way, horsepower. That's just all engine, as they would say in Fast and the Furious. Okay, maybe it's a little bit of ethanol as well, just a touch. This should be our end specs. I made the wheels as big as they can be, like everything is pretty much as large as it can be. Apparently it rolls over very easily, which is great. Brakes, brake fade, brakes are not good, we might have to adjust those, but everything else is done. Except for style. That's going to be the fun part. So I've been debating with myself how far to go with this, because basically the sky's the limit. Like I can just go nuts and just have like a full-on like race body kit. We could have like wings and everything. And so I'm going to do sort of a hybrid. We're going to keep some of the stock stuff like the fjord bumpers, sorry, copyright. And then I'm going to give it a diffuser and some proper exhaust stuff, and it's just going to be cool. So let's do it. Okay, so I've spent a decent amount of time on the back end. This is a big diffuser with some side canards. I don't know the proper terminology for this stuff. And then a big old spoiler on the back. Looking not terrible. It's not as big as I thought it would be, but this one's kind of weird because if you make it tall, then it just looks really, really awkward. So I don't know what to do about that. We could also just put this lemon on it and then, you know, lemon arrow. Okay, I don't think that's gonna fly on YouTube. Oh yeah, I did do this like side stuff here, and I colored the truck peach. I don't know if I mentioned that before. Kind of important. It's peach now. It looks cool. But we've got double side exit exhaust coming out the same side, and that is not the driver's side, so rest in peace, passengers' eardrums. For the front end, I'm going to do something similar. Just going to have to get it some chin stuff going on here. It's going to be good. And then sponsorships slash decals slash maybe it doesn't need to be peach anymore. Not sure. Okay, I've decided to go subtle with the whole sponsorship stuff, so I'm starting off with just doing some side graphics. Not enough cars have side graphics these days, like turbo or whatever on the base of the doors or on the side of the car. That stuff is just cool, and it really needs to come back. I like it. It's cheesy, but I like it. But I'm going to keep this sort of font throughout the rest of the car, so we're going to maybe switch this out too. Yeah, just subtle stuff like this. It's white on peach, a little bit harder to see, but it's cool. I like this sort of setup now. I think it's done, maybe except brakes. Stylistically, it's done. I thought I would end up doing more, but I really like the way that it turned out here, so I think I'm going to keep it. Although now that I think about it, there is one thing missing, and maybe it'll let us get a bigger wing on there too, so hold on a sec. Okay, I changed my mind on things, and this is the setup we're going for. It's not the same. Obviously now we have wooden pieces in the back, but I just thought, I know it looks like a bed frame, but I thought it looks kind of cool, and I'm like, man, it's a peach farm truck. Why don't we have something that makes it look useful? Isn't that cool? Maybe we can get some like barrels in the back too. Hold on a minute, I'm not done. Oh yeah, now we got some junk in the trunk. That is exactly what I like to see. A useful truck. Hey, it's just like me earlier this week. And with that, I'm going to say that this truck is done. Let's take it into BeamNG and see how it performs. I don't have any specific tests for it, I just want to see how it drives. It should be good. This is a lot of power. And a lot of power makes up for a lot of problems, as I found out. Alright, so this is the Fjord RTTR 670L. It should have been 670X2, because that's pretty much what it has. The muffler, or the, I guess, exhaust pipe tips didn't actually come in, but the outline for them did, which is awkward, but I think everything else came out decent. And we got our luggage. I forgot to do an interior, but it's all good. It's actually been a long time since I've done an interior. The reality is it just takes a lot of time, and time is not something I have a lot of these days. But let's get into sport mode, and we'll just see how it is. It's manual transmission. This thing should be wickedly fast. Oh yeah, it is. I kind of sneakily made it all-wheel drive. I don't think I mentioned that in the other portion of this episode, but it's all-wheel drive, it's front mid-engined, it's got 1300 something horsepower, it's got 6 speeds, and it's capable of doing like 450 kilometers an hour or something like that. Fastest peach truck on Earth? Probably. It also crushes surprisingly well. What I did was I merged all of the fixtures together so that they'll just crush with the body instead of flying away, and that actually has pretty good effects, at least for some of these things. So automation was giving me a warning saying that this truck likes to flip over, and they are very right. It wants to break half shafts, it wants to flip. This thing also has 6 piston front calipers because of course it does. It's insane on all levels, so let's just keep going. I used to have a testing regime where I would test cars on a track every single episode and then kind of just keep a log of all the track times and things just to see how each car performed, but that didn't make a lot of sense for a lot of the messed up cars that I would make, stuff that doesn't really need a time, things that don't particularly matter in terms of how fast they are. But one of the thoughts that's crossed my mind to keep some consistency in these episodes and sort of have a through line was, why don't we... Sorry, my daughter is making noise, hold on. She is a tiny toddler and she is tiny and loud. That's just what babies do. Anyways, but one of my ideas was to make a bit of a through line, and that would be to constantly try and best myself in terms of speed. At least that's, maybe I can start that as a bit of a series. So I'll pick a track, well, it'll be me racing, and it'll be using the sim rig, which is just behind me now. And I'll build a car in automation, test it in the sim rig, and try and put down the best lap time I can. It's not going to be an every week thing, but maybe once a month I can make a new car to add to that list. I think that could be kind of fun. It also allows me time to just mess around and do dumb, quick builds like this one, so it doesn't always have to be serious, and the biggest thing is time consuming. Ooh, do a barrel roll. I almost got it. Almost got it. Oh my goodness, that was pretty good. I've noticed this car is very, like, happy to ditch the wheels. It just seems to be a thing. I don't know if that's a new addition in automation beamng exports, but this thing does not want to keep its wheels. I will try to get that synchronizer damage stuff sorted. You have to hold the button down, so no fast shifting. I mean, instant shifting is what it used to be, like that's just not realistic, so I guess this is a feature, at least a little bit. Top speed run, that's 399. Let's go into 6th with a big lisp on the TH there. That is 400 kilometers an hour, and it's kinda accelerating very, very slightly. It would take a while to get up to that top speed. But then if you money shift it, and then you just... Okay, I haven't done that for a while. That was really funny. The noise that it makes is just... That is not the noise it would make. It would basically just explode your engine if you did that. You'd be shooting pistons and everything. Which would be a lot of fun, but no, not realistic. So if you're wondering, the fixtures in the back, I don't believe that they have any weight in automation, but in beamng, there's a rounded value for each of them. I don't know how that works with the other setup stuff that's going on, like the merged fixtures, if that changes things. Basically, the way that the games work together is not always perfect, but we do get fun stuff like this, so no need to complain. Speaking of things to mildly complain about, oh, are we not? Okay, there we go, we're actually in 5th. Automation hasn't had an update in so long. I'm looking forward to the supercharger stuff, and I'm kind of like banking on that for this power series that I was thinking about. So we're basically just grinding away until they finally are finished with that. But even then, once it's done, there'll be hot fixes and stuff, so it's not going to be perfect. But I'm excited for it. I'm really hyped for that, and I've just been kind of waiting here, hopeful that it'll come out any day now, but you never know. You never know. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you want to support me and my journey to do really dumb stuff IRL on this channel, I will explain in the near future. I hope to be starting some of my projects this winter, especially my Tiburon. I've got a few like winter projects to do, and then the garage stuff is going on, but I'm not actually doing most of it. It's going to be contractors because it's out of my league, and I also want to have it finished before I turn 99. It takes me ages to get anything done. But I have this terrible slash good idea of 3.8 swapping my Hyundai Tiburon, like 3.8 out of a Sedona slash Genesis. I really want to do that, so I'm thinking about that more and more every day. And that needs funding, so if you want to support me, check out my Patreon, check out my YouTube membership stuff. I'm trying to post every week these days, trying to get things going again on YouTube, so any support is appreciated. And I will see you guys again soon. Here come the $5 YouTube membership tier people, and everybody else too. Big thank you to Overlord, G.A. Pope, Davis Heister, Goofy Plays, Baja Blast, Mancini Country, Shadow Jasper, and I Look Valheim. Thank you for your support, guys, even during my time of dwindling content. I appreciate it a lot. It's monthly. Minimum is $1 a month, and every bit counts. Every dollar from this just goes back into stuff for the channel, whether that be paying for my monthly internet bill or just doing fun, dumb stuff, or getting a new graphics card like I did a few months ago. So yeah, I thank you guys for this stuff a lot. I really do appreciate it, and hopefully soon I'll have more stuff for you, especially exclusive things on Patreon and in the join button tab stuff. So it's gonna be fun. Thank you guys. See you again soon.